Nothing beats a top 25 ranked showdown in South Bend, Indiana between two rivals. The Trojans, with vengeance in their eyes, trying to rewrite the narrative for last year's loss at the Galen Center. Welcome back to Sports Scene for the first ever live halftime report. I'm Liam Urban.
I'm Gino Cañas.
And I'm Alana Morgan.
A heavyweight matchup between two rivals, USC Trojans and Notre Dame Fighting Irish at Purcell Pavilion. It looked rocking, close to a sold-out crowd, the lights going, and some unfinished business for USC after last year. Yeah. Multiple WNBA draft picks in that last year's game, and this squad looks a little different. Jude, what were your first half thoughts?
Yeah, I just think early on we expected both teams to kind of come out aggressive, and you look at the score. It's a tightly knit one, and that's what we expected.
Yeah, USC has definitely been more aggressive. I feel like last year against this team, Notre Dame kind of applied more pressure than USC. And within this first game, USC has been dominating so far, and I feel like it's going to be a great next two quarters, honestly.
You saw it right there, 33-31. An issue for USC so far this season has been getting out in the first quarter and scoring. You saw last game against Portland, only 10 first quarter points. Yeah. A heavy press, but it seems like they adjusted today. And a lot of that can be credited to Malia Samuels and Jazzy Davidson's play. Yeah. Alana, talk to me about how their performance stepped up to the plate today.
Yeah, Jazzy Davidson, we knew coming into this game that she was going to be an undeniable athlete, and she has been the leading scorers within this game so far. I feel like USC is honestly a second quarter team, and I feel like that's been noticed, especially within these past few games that they've played. Malia Samuels as well, she's been dominating for the Trojans, but also we expected Hannah to do what Hannah does, and she's also been dominating. So I feel like that Jazzy-Hannah duo is something special.
And Jude, we mentioned the different faces this time around from either squad. Obviously, Jazzy, the incoming freshman, recent freshman, Hannah Hidalgo, getting ready. Talk to me about the stats and what you're seeing so far today in that first half.
Yeah, totally. I think when you look at the stats, the field goal percentage is obviously in favor of USC, but I really want to talk about that three-point field goal for USC. I think they haven't settled, right? They've only attempted 9 three-pointers in this first half, and that's what I wanted to see. I thought about it first game, like they don't need to settle because that's where they get in trouble. They're shooting 4 for 9. You like that? And on the other end, Notre Dame, they're shooting 5 for 16. That's why they got 31% from 3. Overall, I think this team has come aggressive. They understand the mission, and they're coming here to get a win.
Last season, Notre Dame Fighting Irish ranked #1 in the country in field goal percentage at 39%. This season, 254th in the country. And another thing to note, super important, are those fast break points. Yeah. Alana, only 6 fast break points allowed for USC in that first half. What did you see? Is it just simply them getting back on defense? It seemed like they isolated on Hannah Hidalgo when she had the ball, pushing the break, like the Irish like to do.
Yeah, I feel like USC has honestly been living up to what Coach Gottlieb wanted to see. She really wanted to see some stronger defense. Kennedy Smith said that if they don't start this game off fast, then they haven't done their part. And I feel like so far we saw within that first quarter that USC kind of struggled a little bit towards the end, but I feel like within that second quarter they were able to regain that momentum, and that's the reason why we have the score that we do.
And it's hard not to mention the loss of Juju Watkins. She had 24 points in the game last year at the Galen Center. Once again, that was a loss for the Trojans. You also have to mention the ringleaders for either squad. Those are the head coaches. You talk about USC's Lindsay Gottlieb and Neil Ivey for Notre Dame. Talk to me about Gottlieb first, Jude, and what she brings to the table for the Trojans.
Yeah, I think she came into the season with a challenge, obviously, right? Juju Watkins being out, you're losing your leader, the Big Ten Player of the Year last year. She kind of had to understand, okay, maybe it's going to put more pressure on Jazzy Davidson. And I think it takes time when you have such a new roster. I mean, Malia Samuels, Candy Smith, I know they were on the team last year, but when you have these new freshmen coming in, I think Gottlieb has, for the most part, done a pretty good job. And on the other side, Ivey, she's kind of doing what she likes to do, push the pace. That is what Notre Dame has been able to do so far. But Gottlieb is saying, you know what, we're going to play your game too. We're also going to push the pace. And I think that we saw when Notre Dame, when they had that blowout loss to Michigan, that's what Michigan did. They capitalized on those fast break points, and we're seeing it today. USC, that's why they're ahead by 2 at half.
Only 12 fast break points in that game against Michigan. NBA coaching experience for both of these coaches. Ivey, the Grizzlies' assistant coach, and obviously Gottlieb coming from the Cleveland Cavaliers. Talk to me about Ivey a little bit, Alana. 117-38 record at Notre Dame. an ACC tournament title, 4 consecutive appearances in the Sweet 16. What does it mean for her being a leader for the Fighting Irish?
I mean, you said it, Ivy. She's a very strong coach for this Notre Dame team. She is very just strong at helping her team bounce back. Like you said, against Michigan, they really struggled with their confidence after that game. And when they went into practice, they wanted to make sure that they were addressing those areas. So I feel like she's a great coach in making sure that a loss like that doesn't define them. And I feel like that's exactly why we've been able to see Notre Dame play as hard as they have within these first 2 quarters.
Yeah.
33-31 once again. Both squads struggled a little with turnovers, 8 for either side. Obviously, the 2 standouts, Hannah Hidalgo, Jazzy Davidson. Then you got to mention Malia Samuels as well. We mentioned those 2 standouts, Samuels and Hannah Hidalgo. But Kyle and Terrence have more on their reactions to the first half.
Hi, everybody. Terrence Holton joined by Kyle Lokay. And Kyle, Trojans off to the lead, 33-31. Who's been your player to watch so far?
Oh, I think Liam just said it right now. It's been Malia Samuels. I mean, so far on the court, she has been efficient with her shooting, especially shooting from beyond the arc in three-point range. She's 2 for 3 right now, and she also has 9 points, just the same amount as Jazzy Davidson. But she's just been phenomenal to watch right now. What she's been able to do on the court, she's open, she's knocking down threes. This girl can play, and I definitely want to see more from her heading into the second half. Who's your key player to watch for Notre Dame?
Another person
Terrence?
we got to mention. She's leading the country in scoring. It's Hannah Hidalgo. Right now, 13 points, 40% shooting from the field. Not great, but she also has 3 steals to go along with that. She's the ringleader of this. She's the ringleader of that defense. 16 steals just over a week ago. If Notre Dame is going to win this game, it's going to be on the back of Hannah Hidalgo. We're not surprised by that. That's why she's the leading scorer in the country. That being said, Notre Dame and USC having a pretty complete game on both sides of the ball. Jazzy Davidson also 9 points.
Yeah, it's been pretty tight. It's definitely going to be something to see heading into the second half. We know that first half looked a little sloppy.
Very much so.
So it's going to be interesting to see, at least from my perspective, because one thing that I think they need to focus on, some of their keys to success, is limiting the turnovers. They have to do that because they had 7 turnovers in the first quarter. That cannot work. You can't do that.
Right.
And then they were able to, in the second quarter, they had 2. But I mean, those are just things you have to build on, have to, have that confidence to head in the second half and be efficient as possible.
Right, and Kyle, we'll get to those keys to the second half in a little bit here.
Yeah.
But Nolan has got a little bit of a history lesson on what has happened between these 2 teams last year.
Yeah, thanks, Terrence. So, talking about that, we're going to look in a second as we pull some of these graphics up. 2024, obviously, the Trojans had that matchup against Notre Dame, and it was a tough one for the Trojans. I can't lie to you. It was at Galen Center. All the expectations, all the hopes are on the Trojans here, but that 2024 matchup at Galen Center, it was a tough watch for the Trojans. They were shooting 35% in the first half from the field, 14% from deep, add in 13 turnovers, and USC was lucky to only be trailing by 7. Different type of afternoon this time around, though. The Cardinal and Gold have made 54% of their shots, including 44% of those threes. They've out-rebounded the Irish thus far and are taking a little better care of the ball than they did in last year's showdown. Now that's how you go into halftime with a 2-point lead. A lot of talk about Jazzy Davidson, but let's look at another leader on this squad, Kennedy Smith. This year, she averages just 5.5 first period points on over 30% shooting. She's been given a chance to turn it around today, but has been quiet. She heads to the locker room with 4 points on 2 of 4 shooting, plus 2 boards. This is a guard that had high expectations placed on her to start the year. She's going to look to make some more noise in that second half.
Notre Dame and South Bend. What do those games kind of stand out to you? What are you looking to gain out of those games?
Yeah, just gain kind of confidence in ourselves. I mean, both teams are great. Obviously, with Notre Dame, they have Hannah Hidalgo, Cassidy Prosper, and all that, as well as South Carolina, obviously defending champions and Final Four runs and stuff like that. So just coming in and kind of playing our game. This is a good tester for us to see where we're at. I think we're going to come in with a level head, hone in on our scout, and hopefully get the dub.
Smith being the only returner, it's not a shock the Trojans are still searching for a new identity this year. Liam, Alana, Jude, how do you guys see Gottlieb navigating this?
Thanks, Nolan. You're absolutely right. Only 2 seniors on this current USC women's basketball roster. Last season, 5 of them, and 2 going to the WNBA. So obviously, a lot of experience in those big-time games. But this is something Lindsay Gottlieb is very familiar with. In 2012, she led a squad of all underclassmen at Cal on a tournament run. Jude, talk to me about this identity. Obviously, the thing that sticks out on paper is the loss of Juju Watkins,
100%.
but it's a lot more, trying to figure out those lineup balances. How has Gottlieb dealt with it?
I think she's done a pretty good job so far. And I mean, they've been dealt a tough card when you got to play South Carolina, when you got to play NC State, and when you're playing Notre Dame right now. Those are a lot of ranked opponents that are scary, and you're probably going to see in March Madness. I think she's done a good job, but I'll point to one stat. They have 28.5 bench points this year on average per game. That's significantly compared to last year. And I think when you had a team with Juju Watkins, look, Juju Watkins is a fantastic player. She's going to score at will, but you get a little bit more of that isolation ball with her. There's not as much frequency. There's not as much, passing, I should say, on offense. So we're seeing a lot more of that. And I think players like Jazzy Davidson have understood that.
And I feel like, honestly, Coach Gottlieb has done an amazing job with this roster this year. Like I said, within these first 2 quarters, Jazzy Davidson, 9 points. London Jones, who she calls her 3-point sniper, 4 rebounds. Not too great with the scoring right now, but she'll get there eventually. We have Kennedy Smith, 3 assists. Hannah Hidalgo, 13 points, as we expected. Just so many well-known players who have done amazing jobs on both sides for Notre Dame and USC. I also think that with the loss of Juju, everyone was a little bit nervous about what this team would look like, but they've been doing a great job dominating Jazzy, a top recruit, and she's a multi-dimensional player, a playmaker, and that's just one of the many on USC's team.
Yeah.
Well, how about we see what the fans are saying about all of this as we send it to Nikki Thomas at the 901 bar.
Well, thank you guys. I'm Nikki Thomas, and we are here at the 901 Bar and Grill, affectionately known as the 9-0, to see some fans here who are ready to see these big teams in this ranked matchup. So we're going to talk to a few fans, get their perspectives on this amazing women's basketball matchup. Come on. Excuse me. Let me ask, what are you all thinking of the game so far?
Which one?
The women's basketball game.
I love it. I'm mad Juju not back yet. She's recovering. And they have a strong team, and I think they may go far with that team.
Yeah.
And the new recruit is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Any thoughts?
No, I agree with them. It's been a tight defense. I think all the starters have over double-digit points. Jazzy's pretty much killing it right now with 19 points, so hopefully he can continue to second half.
Oh, well, thank you. Come on, come with me. How y'all doing? Tell me what you're thinking about the women's basketball game so far.
Oh my goodness, I'm having so much fun watching it. I love watching women's basketball, especially at USC, because the program has grown so much. And this game, Malia and Jazzy, it's been great watching them step into their own as leaders on the team. I know they're young forces, but they're really seeing their confidence shine through.
Yeah, and I mean, we came out with incredible energy in the first half compared to our South Carolina game, and we're out shooting Notre Dame 54% from the floor. Notre Dame's like 30. I don't know. That's none of my business, but I know we're bringing home this win. We need it. We need this win against Notre Dame, bro.
Thank you guys so much. Well, there you have it. Lots of excitement here at the 9-0. Let's send it back to the studio and see what people are saying online.
Thanks so much, Nikki. Obviously, at the 9-0, there are some hopeful fans. Let's see what people are saying online, though, on X. I just wanted to start off here. Everyone's talking about Hannah Hidalgo. If you look up Hannah Hidalgo, everyone's just going crazy about her offense this game. Tony Perkins says, Hannah Hidalgo's disruptive on defense. Her hands are very active. Danny, the super fanal. What has Hannah Hidalgo figured out that enables her to steal the ball every 48 seconds? Obviously, she's been a huge piece for Notre Dame. And then another USC fan offered us a simple solution. USC, lock in, bruh. Let's see, maybe there's some other USC fans who have given a different analysis. We have to thank USC for a lot of lousy passes. They play very clumsy and throw into clogging passing lanes. Hannah Hidalgo is going to turn that into a fast break opportunity nearly every time, which is very much true. We've been seeing that, right? There are some more hopeful fans online, though. Megan L. Hall said, you see the potential with Jazzy Davidson. She's electric. I just would like to see her not take so many risks with her passing and her perimeter shooting. She'll get there, not concerned, just that college learning curve. Obviously, some fans are hopeful online, but there was another fan who offered a simple recap of the game. This USC versus Notre Dame game is definitely something. It is definitely something, and I'm hoping that back in the studio, Kyle and Terrence, you can kind of give us some keys to how we can evolve this game from something to maybe something else on the court.
Thank you, Mia. Yeah, as Mia just mentioned, the keys to our second half of the game. I'm going to go first, Kyle. For Notre Dame, it's two things. First off, you got to speed up the pace of play. You just went here. I'm actually going to let you go first.
It's all good.
Because it goes on together.
No, it really does. And I know I touched on this a little bit earlier, but it's still limiting those turnovers. But Terrence, I'm going to throw it to you. I'm going to let you have the floor. Tell me
You're too kind, Kyle.
It's all good. Tell me what the keys to success are for the Fighting Irish.
Well, it's speed up USC. You know, you saw in that first quarter, USC was going fast. They're taking bad shots, and Notre Dame capitalized off of it. 7 turnovers in the first quarter, only 4 in the second. I want to see a bit more of that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, but you know what mine is. Limit those turnovers because it's going to work out for you in the end. But they've been phenomenal playing, and we'll see what happens in the second half. I'm excited. I'm going to be glued to my computer watching it. So
I'm very excited for it. I also want to see Notre Dame create a little bit more contact, get to that line more. But thank you for joining us here in the pit. Liam, Alana, and Jude have their final thoughts on this game.
Well, Terrence said it. You got to speed up the pace, limit the turnovers. Any final thoughts, Jude and Alana, before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I think if USC can win this game, it shows a lot going forward in the season of just, first of all, they've never actually won a road game versus Notre Dame. And also when you go on a road against a ranked opponent, that shows a lot going forward in the season.
Consistency and rhythm is a huge part going into these next 2 quarters. So I think that is going to be a huge for USC to take this game.
Well, storylines and implications for the season are only important if the Trojans can finish the job in South Bend, Indiana. From all of us at Sports Scene, our entire crew and cast, we appreciate you for tuning into history, the first ever live halftime report. Until next time, I'm Jude Ocanius.
I'm Alana Morgan.
And I'm Liam Urban.